sorry, my phone was calling then, so I got cut off. Yeah, you can see that the cars in the area it's not a lower socioeconomic area. You can certainly see it's perhaps a higher calibre than some of the areas in Brisbane. Just a little side note as well is the area as a whole, as I mentioned to the locals, is Bayside, but it's also predominantly known as Redland Bay, and you can see, well hopefully you can see in this footage, the soil is the most luscious, rich colour, and that's obviously where the Redland Bay gets its name from. If you've been living here, there's some really, really old, beautiful Queenslanders. Actually, when we turn left here, you'll see them. And a lot of their, 70, 80-year-old timber fences are quite stained with the red from the soil. And it's quite sort of praised in the area because it's a lovely thing. So we're just going down, essentially headed towards, and you can see the signs for the ferry. So there's an island over the way called Coochiemudlo Island. Don't ask me how to spell it, but it's Coochiemudlo Island. There's also a few other little islands as well, but you can catch the ferry down the end of this street. More shops to the right. And I just wanted to give you a real sort of feel for the area, who's in the area, what they're doing. So on the weekend, they're jumping across on the ferry to the island, or they're just playing around at the water's edge. And it is, you can see again the tree-lined streets. It's beautiful, and yeah, it's just a very aquatic, outdoorsy sort of climate. In particular, down at the Bayside areas in Brisbane as a whole, but certainly with access down to the waterfront on the weekend, why wouldn't you be down there? Today is a Thursday, and I chose that on purpose because it does get busy down here, and I just really wanted to have some free area, free space to drive around to show you without everybody on their boats and jumping across on the ferry. That's not to say that it's a problem or an issue. There's heaps of parking down here. It's just a little easier for me to show you around when there's not people everywhere getting in the view of my wonderful videography skills. So this is, the council have spent quite a lot of money upgrading down here because they felt that it needed it because it was so popular. You can see on the right hand side the number of long parks for cars and trailers. And then we'll come around here to the right hand side, and you can see where you can anchor your boat there to the left. There's a man doing it on cue for me. And then you can see over to the islands as well. And straight ahead there is a huge amount of parks over there and barbecues, and again this area is just filled with people having fun in our beautiful Queensland climate on the weekend. Another great again, or interesting fact, hot tip you'd like to call it, about this area is there's a number of pockets that have got some multi-million-dollar price tag properties, and you can see them to the right hand side that sit right on the water's edge. We'll go right down to the ferry and then we'll come back again and turn around so that you can see it from all angles. So with my stopping and starting, apologies for that delay in the recording, but it would have been about 3 minutes for me to get down here to the water's edge and to the barge and ferry. And you can see there are all those homes, and that spans right around to the left hand side, probably for a good 7 or 8 kilometres down that way along the water's edge, of really some beautiful homes in the area. And those homes obviously fetching quite a substantial price tag as well, which of course is great, and again adds to the higher socioeconomic and higher calibre of people living in the area too. I might give you a little reprieve from listening to my voice for a little while. I'm sure it gets draining. So I'll just sort of drive you through the area. Just done a bit of a loop, so I will include a Google Maps image of my route today so that you can see exactly where I went. And we're just coming back through that school zone. We're going to go up and turn right, and then the estate will be on the left hand side. Right hand side is Victoria Point State School. That is a primary and secondary, and then on the left hand side there's another secondary as well. Interesting fact, and again why this has really sparked our interest, this estate in particular. As you probably are aware, one major factor for us being interested in looking at an area in particular, obviously firstly a region, an area, then a suburb, then obviously quite closely look at particular pockets in particular, is the percentage of owner-occupiers to investors in the area. And the particular area that we're looking at the moment, Victoria Point, that sits perfectly within our realm or our scope of what we believe to be a smart and reasonable percentage. So Victoria Point as a whole sits at around the 24% of investment homes as opposed to owner-occupiers. So that certainly fits in with our 70-30 rule. And again, you can certainly see from the calibre of people in the area and what's keeping people living here, with schools, shopping, really ease of living, and obviously with transport as well. So you can see that Victoria Point Shopping Centre over to the left hand side, again that health precinct to the left, and then that's that Aldi and cinema complex on the left hand side. And I'll obviously highlight this on the route, but essentially we're going to turn left at that roundabout that we originally turned right at, and then we're right there. So you can't really get much better than that in regards to ease and access. There is a walking track on the left hand side that may or may not be in your field of vision on the video as well. So it really is walking distance, it's easy, it's practical. From my perspective, looking at it from an investment focus, it certainly ticks most of the boxes that I think is going to work. And I feel free to ask any other questions in regards to the area that you need to. Obviously myself or one of the members of the team are always happy to take your questions. I'm just going to have one last little drive through the area, and I'll do that for you in peace and quiet. And that's it from me, over and out. So that's Emma Herbert from Australian Property Panel. Hope this has been useful for you. Thank you.